Hello and welcome.
Drop
You've got
in.
kind of a special glow around you there, John, with the camera. Yes, I think that's pretty good. We got you there. So we're back.
We're back.
We're back. I'm back, LJ here, and this is John Myers-Childers, one of my first and favorite teachers and current and friends who I'm getting to drop in with here.
Comrades on the path of exploration.
Ooh, yes. There it is.
Co-creators in our existence.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Yeah. So we're here in Costa Mesa in John's beautiful home studio. And we're getting ready to drop in and happy to have you here with us live and soaking up what comes through.
Mm-hmm. And if anybody would like a question, Cindy's behind, and she would actually could read the questions to us.
Yes. So if you have a question that you want to have considered, please do put it here on our live video.
You know, speaking of questions, this woman, Lori, asked a question on Facebook. What does it mean to have a strong yoga practice? And this is what, because she was feeling that her students were using the phrase in the context of purely skeletal, muscular gymnastics, postures, you know, intense. To have a strong yoga practice is to do a gymnastic-like yoga postures. And, you know, and the, sort of the debate moved on to, well, I always thought a strong yoga practice was, or somebody would say, like an ethical practice. That, you know, a strong yoga practice is someone who follows all the 8 limbs of Patanjali. And certainly sort of a strong yoga practice in her context would be is that you have a reference to a teacher or a book or an idea, an ethical program. You know, people would say, you know, is it an advanced yoga class? And I would say that my most advanced yoga class was people in their 60s and 70s, because they had been with me for 5, 6, 10 years. And we had the vibration, the ethics, the conscious participation, the smooth ujjayi flow of breath, the welcoming embrace of each other in a non-competitive way, in an actually supporting way. And of course, this was not based upon strong physical postures. This was about having a powerful present consciousness. To be powerfully present through the breath and really your heart. It was really a heartfelt thing.
Powerfully present. I love that.
Yeah, that would be a strong yoga class. Powerfully present. Not doing yoga postures which are huffing and puffing. I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Are you creating equanimity? Are you creating awareness? Looks to me like you're huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the concepts there. Is a strong yoga practice is really maybe is referring to a deeper sense, maybe an ethical or a conscious sense of self and the group. These words, like strong yoga practice, the whole word strong sort of sets the whole thing off in a lopsided way, because it has this direct implication of sort of the material world the strength of moving physical objects, of force on physical objects. And as opposed to, let's say, yoga as a sense of conscious unity with life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. So so the word strong sort of it brings in the physical side of reality first and foremost. It's not like a strong, really a deep yoga practice, a conscious yoga practice, a meaningful yoga practice. I mean, those words, and a creative, loving yoga practice. I mean, so we want a strong yoga practice, which is like a material sort of use, an ends to a means, even, if you will, not a holistic thing. The other question I saw people asking is how to use the breath to change your life. Now, again, it sort of sounds, to me, it sounds like you have a strong yoga practice. The words themselves are not taking me to where I think it's really where you want to go. Like, to use the breath all sounds like a tool. A hammer. Use the screwdriver to build your house. Use your breath to change your life. Now, again, like changing your life sounds like changing your light bulb. In the sense that, what is your life? What is your life? Our relationship to reality seems to be one of use, as opposed to resonating with, as opposed to jointness. And your life also tends to be viewed as separate self, skin-encapsulated ego, psychological bubble. To change your life, you have to understand what life is. Yeah. See, because again, it's the language we're using is coming from the modern materialistic framework. And so your life is made up of matter, atoms that come together in great complexity that create personality and a consciousness. In other words, your life, your consciousness is an epiphenomena or the result of your material being. And so, again, the question sort of is already tilted with like misconceptions or not, perspectives that are not headed towards where you want to go. You want to see your life as a timeless spark of creativity, love, and wisdom, shining, sharing its gifts and lessons. Or you're changing your life, your house, your job, your weight. Not that those are not important things, but what's primary? Consciousness is primary, matter is secondary, according to the quantum physicist, which is the exact reverse of modern material thought, that would say that we are the result of matter, not the result of consciousness or information or love or whatever this etherical stuff is.
Wow. Yeah.
I think we need, so I want to go back to this question.
Yeah.
How to use the breath to change your life. Your breath is not something that you can separate apart and use. You can become aware of it. You can become conscious of it. And you can weave your intentions and visualizations and let them ride on it.
Ooh.
So you don't have to use your breath. You have to be present with your breath. You have to be conscious with your breath. You think really your breath is like the iceberg. You're only 20% conscious of it. It's 80%. So we're working with it now. And then back to the life thing. Change your life. It's really about changing your consciousness. Not changing your matter. Not changing your house, your job, or your weight. First, change your consciousness, and your weight, and your job, and your house will also reflect that. So let's just observe the breath for just a moment. I think we can all do this. How to use the breath to change your life, which is how to be conscious of your breath to realize your life. Okay. So I think that the first thing is that really sometimes I would say listen. In my book, I really say listen to the breath first. See, because as you say, observe your breath. You could be listening to it. I don't hear it. Take your hands right now. 7 breaths. 7 breaths. 7 days of the week. 7 colors in the rainbow. Put your hands over your ears and listen to 7 breaths. To be present with your breath is to listen to your breath. And when you listen to your breath, what is it saying? What is it singing? What is it telling you? How to use your breath to change your life. How to resonate, be conscious of the breath, to realize, manifest your gifts of creativity, love, and wisdom. It's the japa mantra. It's the silent mantra that the universe is singing, that you're listening to when you put your hands over your ears and you can hear the echo of this. And really, I'm just going to the deepest of the deep, and I feel kind of like cheating on this because it would be helpful to have steps 1 to 4. But let's just go from here and say that as you inhale, you're basically inhaling back to the source, back to the essence of inspiration in your life, hope, creativity, love, and wisdom in your life. You inhale, so. You inhale, I am what thou art. And what is thou art? Thou art is the divine presence. And as you exhale, hum, thou art what I am. The breath is the epitome of your oneness. It is the epitome of your union with the web of life. To think that you can separate yourself from your breath and use the breath like a tool. Life is breathing you as you are breathing life. So you can always listen to the universe. Put your hands over your head, ears. And listen to the song that God is singing to you all the time. The Divine Mother, the ocean of consciousness. So in the deepest, most abstract form, that's one way to connect to the breath, to transform your consciousness, your life, your physical form. Do you have anything quicker, easier, something a little more tangible, John? Just a little bit? Anything? That's pretty abstract. That's a universe. That's a whole lot. I got tomorrow to deal with. Can you help me with that? Yes. Thank you. So glad you asked. The inhalation is to take you back to the source. And you can just pretend that you can not pretend. You can be the manifestation of that source as infinite potential. But you might want to restrict it down to a couple things. Like, I got to get a job. I've got to get a relationship. I got to get a new place to live. These shoes are just, they're worn out. I got to get a new pair. Whatever it is, you can go back to the source as you inhale, and in which you liberate yourself from these needs. You tap into the source of infinite possibility, and as you exhale, you can visualize the solution coming, or you can make your intention. My intention is to be a more peaceful person today. My intention is to bring new work into my life today. My intention is to, and you can, as you exhale, you can do this. So really, you inhale to the infinite, exhale and manifest your intention. Visualize it. Create it in your heart, in your soul, in your fingers, in your touch. Inhale and bring it back. And exhale and bring your intentions, manifest them. Visualize them. Your intention is to lose weight. Exhale. I'm losing weight. Your intention is to be creative. Exhale. Creativity flows through me. And because I am present with the divine. That's a good one too. Intentions, right? Let your intentions ride on your exhalation. That your exhalation is really a manifestation of your physical form into being. And we are actually collapsing the wave particle phenomenon, the wave of probability. Your exhalation can be used to create anything. You're like the wave, and then you collapse it, and you want this particle created. You want this healing now. I exhale and I manifest a better acid-base balance in my body. I am less acidic. I exhale and create thyroid balance. If you put your intentions out for changing the outside world, they work. You can observe a dog and it might actually turn its head and look at you. But if you turn your attention into you, everything looks right away. Your intentions for healing yourself are like really good, really, really good. And like sometimes I think when like you're using the breath to change your life, I would say like, as you inhale in the morning, you exhale and you visualize more good coming to you than you can even imagine. there is something so good coming that I don't even know what it is yet. And of course, you know that's true. You know that's true. The people you meet, your jobs and things like that, you had no idea in the morning that you were going to meet them. See them. Be open to it. Look for the goodness. I wanted to go back to a little bit about this strong practice, this ethical practice. And I wanted to go a little bit about the ethics of Patanjali. This is 2,000 years ago. This is the beginning of the printed word, well, the beginning of the written word. And the beginning of 2 millennia of really male-dominated, left-handed problem-solving, right brain thinking. By the way, the problem-solving is also part of the whole thing. If you have to relook at it again, but that's a separate issue. Our ethics, our morality is really reflected in who we voted for president. Self-serving, narcissistic, almost, almost a psychopath in his obsession with self. We have made that okay, a little bit. The wealth prosperity doctrine, like the abundance of the kingdom of heaven, except we translate the kingdom of heaven as sort of like material. And so it's all about getting more money, more possessions, more quote unquote material wealth. And in a culture that's matter is primary, consciousness is secondary, wealth is not consciousness, which would include love and creativity and intuition and friendship. Oh, no. In material-based things, we talk about consumer goods, property, money, assets. Your friendship is not listed as an asset in my bank, for my lawyer. I'm really sorry to say. The ethics of Patanjali are in part related to restraints, the yamas, and self-observances, the niyamas. Again, it's a separation of self. Remember, Purushka and Prakriti are separate. You're separate from the environment. You're separate from others. Take personal charge of your life and get over it. Stop being a snowflake, you millennials. This materialistic way of observing the earth, was that you could be passive and objective in your observations. But we now have, we know that's just, not true. The observer affects the observed. We have mirror neurons. We're mirroring each other all the time. We're totally affected by one another. And that's just on those levels. We got the heart math, the coherence of vibrations. We all are vibing. We're in training. We're in training together. We're all getting, and so we're seeing this awakening now. And so I think for me, the strong yoga practice, the ethical yoga practice, in this what I call postmodern world, the new millennial world, is divine witnessing. That you have a strong yoga practice when you can shine the divine light on, not just on others, you can see it in others. Because you are one with, there is no other. And we can create this divine witnessing. If I see the divine beauty, the creativity in you, and it flows back to me, and life is breathing me as I am breathing life, and we are one. That's a strong yoga practice.
The ultimate use of our power with each other, right?
Consciousness. Heartfelt consciousness, divine present consciousness, infinite love consciousness. That's a strong yoga practice. It should make us want to smile.
As an indicator that we're on the right, path. If the smile is an indicator. Or the right path.
I bow down to the teacher. Yes, I would concur. I would concur. I saw a video the other day that said, what's the most powerful 5-letter word in the world? And he said, sorry? Oh no, sorry. That's not. Money? That could be that, yeah, but that's. Smile. He said, the most powerful thing, because you can take it with you everywhere, and you can make people's day better. And see, the mirror neurons, we now actually have scientific proof of this, that the invisible world really exists, that your mirror neurons actually, when I smile, you can't, this is what the studies show, when you look at someone performing an action, the same centers in your brain light up as if you performed that action. That's why it's so helpful to surround yourself with the, I am like zero capacity for boxing, horror movies. I can't, my mirror neurons, like as a physical body, I stutter. I stutter. Because I immediately have empathy with all this, and this is I'll mirror this back, and that's not the vibration I want to mirror back.
Wow.
I like sending the divine witnessing. I mean, really, that's what the conversation like with Trump. I want to give him the divine witnessing. I don't. I mean, I'm not really trying to send him vibes that he be impeached. I'm really trying to send him peachy vibes that stop it. He's just a very unhappy person. He has suffered abuse. That brings me to the interbeing concept. I had a revelation this week. This revolution in consciousness, this evolution in consciousness, which will really result in a social revolution. I look at these things and the old language of even left and right. I grew up with leftist parents, but I don't necessarily identify myself with left anymore because they can be materialists too. And so I think of the healthcare, it's not even enough for me to socially include healthcare as a right. When your healthcare is based on notions of a materialistic understanding of life as opposed to a conscious understanding of life. And so I come up with the term interbeing healthcare. And because I want people to pause. You know, if you say socialized healthcare, everybody thinks, well, that doesn't include any individualized healthcare. Or if you have this thing over here, it's individualized, there's no social net for it here. I don't like these. They don't speak to interbeing. Either I'm a separate individual, or I have no individuality in a collective world. And so I think that the interbeing healthcare, I think, would be helpful. And I follow that with right consciousness, RITE, RIGHT consciousness. That you have a consciousness of RIGHT is the social. It's healthcare as a right, a social right. But that does not excuse you or a notion that somehow you can be fixed independently of your consciousness. You must be involved. And so you have to have a personal RITE, personal right. I don't care. Walk, swim, play ping pong, eat tangerines. Okay.
Yes.
You have to be you have to heal by yourself. That's your personal right. It's your personal ritual.
Right.
You have to have your visualization, your breath consciousness about how you can heal. You have to take charge of this.
Yes.
But if you don't include your relationships in that, I think that you restrict your sense of self. It also does include your children, your family, your parents, your neighbors, your co-workers. So, they're part of my healing too. And we bring this up so that our personal ritual, well, everybody who knows us will be involved. Oh, Dad gets up and meditates every day. Oh, my mother goes for a walk every day. Oh, she goes to the pool every day. Interbeing healthcare.
Wow. Personal
Responsibility and social responsibility. And then we have to have I and I healthcare. We need an I and I society. You are, therefore I am. I am what thou art. Thou art what I am. You know the best thing about interbeing healthcare? It's not restricted to human beings. You include all life, all beings, because the health of all beings is related to our health. That was worth recording. I mean, as soon as I think about healthcare for all, I think about my dog, my garden, my air, my water. Yep. Water is life. Yeah. Water is alive too, by the way. You know, see. Consciousness is primary. Matter is secondary. Life is in matter, and consciousness is in life. Life is in water, and consciousness is in water. Interbeing healthcare would have reverence for the water cycle.
I was just thinking of the great one-liner that you let out before we started recording that seems related to all of this. This idea of personal liberation leading to social revelation, and how this inner being concept being such to me, a fresh but probably also ancient way that we can use this whole lifestyle of yoga and meditation and personal development and growth, that this awareness that it's not just about the personal liberation. And if it is, then that's because it can lead to the social revelation, right? But that connection that I so appreciate that you're bringing through with this interbeing discussion to just remind us it's not about that. I love how you physically will express it, this very different understanding of what we're going for with this lifestyle of connecting, that not letting it be this goal of getting all cozy in our shell and peace and harmony and but yet this feeling of disconnect from the world perhaps. Totally. But yet instead letting that be so that we can embrace our inner beingness and really utilize our power with the divine witnessing and ways of being and consciousness. So yeah, this personal liberation being related to this social revelation. Anything more you want to say on that?
Well, I almost think you could flip them, right. Flip them. A social liberation and personal revelation. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
See, it's just what we have now is wisdom philosophy. A holistic understanding of life creates an interdependency in a web, so that you can't just pull on one thread without the whole fabric moving. Even though it's just one individual, it still pulls. You can't. It's like you're like a thread in a fat piece of fabric. Yeah, you can get your thing going good, but the fabric is rotting. You're gonna have a hard time. And it's like, and we see that. I think what we start to see that, especially now, as if you believe in evolution, I had to ask that question. That's pretty funny. Don't we all believe in evolution? Do we believe things are changing, or is this the last train stop? There's nothing. This is how it's going to be forever? No. So if we're evolving. And even then, what we really sort of got to ask is really about even like yoga philosophy. Because the yoga philosophy really was, and Sri Aurobindo says it, this up until the last 2,000 years, the yoga's been about renunciation and self-observation, self-observances. And the whole path, and then you add to that Barbara Marx Hubbard, it says the whole entire thrust of humanity biologically has been procreation. Have babies, because they'll die quickly. With healthcare, have babies, have a litter, have 5, have 7. We don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't believe, and you know what else has changed too? In the last 100 years, see, this is what's going to take place in the next few years, or as I would like to say, the day after tomorrow, is going to be a sea change in the entire evolution of the earth and of the family of humanity. And it will be, because up until now, this will be the end of the history of mankind. Because up until now, it's just been a history about mankind. We're going to have the beginning of the story of humanity. And women are going to lead this. And of course, we see how challenging this is worldwide. In the Middle East, the role of women. And really, it's just been 100 years we've had the suffragette movement in the United States. I always like to remind people, at the beginning of the United States, in the 1790s, 1810, if you were married to a guy who had a farm and he died, the wife didn't get the property. Women could not own property. It would go to his brother or the male member of the family.
Yeah.
Women couldn't own property 150 years ago. So we've come a long way. And we, and it wasn't just really like 30, 40 years ago. Animals were considered dumb. Now we realize that pigs are as smart as a 3-year-old. And dogs, well, gee whiz, I have a Buddha for a dog. So we have changed a lot. And the notion of what it is to be a self is changing as well. We live, remember procreation was way, so that, in the Romans times, the average person lived to be about 27. There wasn't much, there was no opportunity for a midlife crisis. In the last 100 years,
oh, interesting.
We've gone from the average age of the Americans has increased over 30 years. People used to die in their 40s and 50s. Now, there's like almost a third period now. Some people would say, like, it's for women, it's the crone, or it's the wise woman time, where it's no longer just the nubial nymph or the grandmother. It's now the ancient wise one coming, and I really and I look at the women, lawyers and professors on. Wow, they are coming. They can speak for me. I have no problem with them. And I think that we're going to have like this great evolution of the feminine into society, and then, but this is it's we like to honor our parents. But the times are changing quickly. And it's just not okay. Just because Dad was just lightly sexist, I'll be lightly sexist. Dad was lightly racist, prejudicial, bigot. We gotta let go of all that. All that's gold does not glitter. Your true happiness is in invisible things. To even